Welcome, 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 trivalent beings of spirit, mind, and body. Time for the Ask Doc Alkebulanese Solution Show, sponsored by Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation, also known as Proof. Its mission is to spread the trivalent understanding noetics, featuring stand-up philosophy that includes anthropology, psychology, biology, metaphysics, medicine, psychodrama, comedy, and music through a genre called edutainment, educating while entertaining, coined by KRS-One. The host of this wonderful show is Dr. Y.O.U. L. Carlisle Woods, RN, MD, Met D1, and myself, co-host, Dr. Hamida Rockman Woods, MED, PhD, Met D2. Well, I have the PH.
I have the M.
We both have D's.
That makes us
y'all.
Doc squared.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The title of today's show is Where We Are Now and Where We Might Be Going.
Okay. We're going to give you that show. But first, we're going to give you this show. This is what, where when I go to Lexington, Kentucky to see the Kentucky Wildcats kill somebody, and when I'm dressed like this, the people in Lexington call me Papa Blue.
And call me Mama Blue.
That'd be That's it. Okay. First, so that's where we are. That's where we are now, where we should be. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into that, but before we do, we're going to get into the Hip Hop Trio Plus. Yes, individually. I would like to introduce them individually. And first, we have Shelly K. Shelly K. That's her.
Yes.
Shelly K.
Yes.
Now, the girl sings, she writes, she performs, she plays violin, she crawls on her belly like a reptile, she kills people from across the country. No, she don't do that last two, but she does everything else. And she is one of the major reasons why we have something called the Hip Hop Trio Plus. Behind her is Kenya Kendall. Believe it or not, her sister. Oh, look at KK.
And we
look
call her
at
KK.
Yes. KK looking all serious.
Yes, beautiful.
Deep and stuff. KK is our music director.
Yes.
She plays several instruments, but the main one she plays is herself. She plays her throat. She plays her fingers on the keyboard. She plays everybody else for chumps. Because she is the queen of what we do.
Fabulous. Yes.
Absolutely. KK. Next, and the last member of the Hip Hop Trio is Dr. Hamida Rockman Woods, known as Essie Bassett.
That's me. That's me.
That's
yes.
my wife. Boy, she's cute.
Oh,
I like her face.
My darling.
No, baby, no, thank you. I get to enjoy it.
Hey,
That's
I forgot to give everybody a horn, man. They horn.
Okay.
That's it.
You gave the right one, the horn. Okay, give her one too. All right. She ain't got no horn.
Okay, now we need. What about you?
That was for everybody.
That's for everybody.
All right.
Okay, and last is the plus.
All the trio plus. Now
The plus.
that was the trio.
Yeah, that's the trio, and then the plus. The plus is me.
Yes.
Now
We want to see you up there with the
I am, and it's going to be
Yes.
changed. This is going to be changed as of January, sometime in January when we go back to Ghana. My present Ghanaian name is Abrafo Kweku Baba Amwa. That's going to be changed when I get changed into a chief. I will have a totally different name.
Yes.
Now, that's before we get to, so that's where we are. Okay. A mother's pain released as disdain for both our legal system and our way of pursuing the Constitution. Ms. Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss,
Yes.
have some really, really strange insights into how this country functions. And a mother's pain of having her daughter brought under the eye of the most powerful man on this planet by volunteering to help her. Yeah. Y'all don't know what that could possibly feel like.
Yes.
I can only imagine it myself. Let me give you a whole different interpretation of a mother's pain, released as disdain. Down in Georgia,
Georgia.
the whole day through.
The whole day through.
Such an old sweet song. Okay, that's enough. Georgia. Down in Georgia, we had a new occurrence. Miss Gina Ellis. I'm sorry, lawyer Gina Ellis. I don't know who she lawyers for because line 44.5 said that she is not one of his lawyers, even though he said on several occasions she was. Come on now. That's what the boy do. Gina Ellis joined the crew. Ha ha! She joined the crew of all of those who do what they do for line 44.5. Gina Ellis, who has come on television and said to the world a whole slew of lies, half-truths, and totally incomplete fabrication. Let me give you a brief list. She said 96,000 mail-in ballots had not been counted. She said 2,506 felons voted illegally. She said 66,248 underage people voted in Georgia. She said 2,423 people voted who were not even registered in the state of Georgia. She said 1,043 people voted using P.O. boxes as their addresses, which is illegal in most states, in Georgia being one of those. She then said 10,315 dead people voted. Now, Miss Gina Ellis was not the only person to tell these lies. Line 44.5, Rudy Giuliani, and several of their other supporters have told many, if not all, of the same lies. It's Miss Gina Ellis who released her pain as disdain for the lies that she says she was fooled into stating. Now, Miss Ellis also said she tried to represent her client as best she could, but she admitted she had not done her own homework on any of these lies that she told the world, the nation, and especially the state senators of Georgia. None of these numbers, circumstances, or consideration were proven to be true. There was never any evidence for any of the numbers or situations that she described. Thank you so much, baby. It's good to have a wife, y'all. It just is. Where we at, y'all? Where we at with all of that coming up? We got some nation-shaping questions that we need to start asking ourselves. But the first one is a statement. Imagine as a nation where we should be, and that should be now, the last word, Uh-huh. Imagine as a nation where we should be now. Now, hold on. Don't take that statement as whole, because unfortunately, none of you have ever been taught how to imagine. Have you? Has anybody gave you any direction on how to use the portion of your spirit that controls your mind? Your imagination controls to a large degree how your mind functions. You imagine or visualize something inside yourself with your spirit, and your mind goes to work on that image. Your mind starts to verify, measure, contradict, go into all sorts of mental gymnastics based on the image that your spirit has given it. So imagine as a nation where we should be now. What you do is you visualize individually and as a group the members of this nation functioning. You see them in as much detail as you can. You try to put as much color, light, and to a certain degree, texture on your image. And strangely enough, when you use these techniques, what you imagine has more energy, has more focus, and it has more spiritual strength. Imagining like this gives power to your image and allows it to become reality. When you don't have precise images, bright colors, lots of light, texture on the things that you are visualizing, you have much less chance of making what you imagine reality. Using this technique of imagination not only puts more energy behind the image, it puts that image into motion. So, imagine as a nation where we should be right now. Now, that...
Michael caught that, man. Had to change that no to a now.
Yes, indeed. Oh, she did it. Oh, look at that.
Excellent.
Where should be now? Should be now. That's a right way to put it. This is a world-shaping question. As a nation, where should we be? As a people, where should we be? Now, as a people, where should we be has lots of different subcategories. Where should we be as a people has the subcategories racially, culturally, educationally, legally, religiously, according to both women's reforms and our support of lots and lots of different nations as allies and enemies. Those images should be skating across your spirit. Now, all of that, and at least to a large degree, the images that you come up with are going to depend on your education. Now, I said education. I'm not referring to the system that we call in America our education system, because it is not an education system. It's a training system. Its job is to train you to go to work at McDonald's or Ford or someplace else. Its job is to train people to work for corporations. Our country America took its training system from the systems of Germany and England, which started right after the Industrial Revolution, when all of these industrial revolutionary millionaires came to England and Germany and said, "Psst, psst, got a deal for you. I'll pay your teachers, build your schools, buy the books, anything you want. All you got to do is teach them and train them in the techniques we need in our employees. They need to be able to read. They need to be able to write. They need to be able to do basic math. And they need to have some understanding of at least the products that we're going to be selling. Those are the only requirements that the industrialists of Germany and England required of those countries. And those countries thought about that offer and said, right, we're going to do it. We're definitely going to do it. And our country did the exact same thing. Don't believe me? I tell everybody, never believe a word that comes out of my mouth. You use it as a basis for your own exploration and education. But going to that, go to George W. Bush, who was the person who instigated the system that we have now called No Child Left Behind. And he said that the standards are what you're trying to achieve. And he said the standards of No Child Left Behind are the standards most employers want in their employees. Exactly what England and Germany responded to when they've made their training system. Now, an educational system teaches you. It teaches you what you are, a trivalent being with a spirit, mind, and body. Who you are, a descendant from ancestors that go back to the first people on this planet, the first Homo sapiens that were in a place we call Alkebulanese. Most of the other world refers to it as Africa. No, the inhabitants called it Alkebulanese long before there was ever a pink person on this planet. What, who, where, and I'm not talking about GPS or address. I'm talking about the spiritual, psychological events that have marked the place where you live. Because those things are going to be affecting you. And if you are unaware of them, they will be affecting you unawarely. You won't know why you're doing yay, say, and whatever. Because those were the things that place absorbed. Okay. What you are, who you are, where you are, when you are. So that you can understand why you are. That's education. And that's not what our system teaches. I expected, I don't know why, when I got into this world, I expected to be educated. And I expected that at every phase of my education. I expected school to be about teaching me. I expected that when I started kindergarten. I expected it when we started elementary school. When we got into middle school, I said, oh yeah, they really got to teach me about me here. No, they didn't. Then I thought, just thinking, maybe that's what high school is about. You go learn these high things. You start learning how to use your imagination. You start learning how to use your mind and spirit. You start learning these things that every human being comes into this world lacking, needing, and wanting. No, didn't happen in high school at all, period. Just the opposite. I got into arguments with teachers, and this is what led to me dropping out of high school eventually, about lies they were teaching that I knew were lies. And I called them on and said, that's a lie. Why are you teaching that? They said, well, you go to the principal's office. I said, kiss my whole body. I'm going home. And I did, and I never came back to school. Then I left the country and found out that other countries don't have this training system. They have educational system. Mm-hmm. And they know a whole lot more about all those things than I ever thought about. Mm-hmm. Shocked me about 15 years ago, first time I went to Ghana and realized that everybody in Ghana knew who their parents were, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, their great-great-grandparents, their great-great-great-grandparents, their great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, their great-great, yeah, you get the idea. Mm. Everybody in Ghana knew their whole line back for centuries. Mm. That was normal. That was not even talked about because everybody understood that. They did not understand that we didn't understand that. Mm. And that we had no idea who our great-grandparents were. We had no idea who our great-great-grandparents were. Mm. We have no idea who left Alkebulanese and came here. Because we're not being educated. Okay. We got a song that the Mangees, the Kendall Boys, put a cartoon to, and this cartoon is all about me trying to get educated and the changes I went through as a child trying to get what I wanted. I wanted to understand me. No matter how I tried, no matter where I made my efforts, I couldn't get it there, I couldn't get it here, I couldn't get it up there, I couldn't get it down here. So the name of this song is Can't Get. Peep this.
When you're going through this thing called life, you're going to have a great number of opportunities, and you're going to have some challenges. In those opportunities and those challenges, you may not be able to get everything that you want, but you should always try to get what you need.
Can't always get what you want. Always get what you want. Always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Now we're all here for the celebration, trying to find out my own creation, how to learn from my imagination, finding truth, my only liberation. Yeah. 'Cause you can't always get what you want. No, you can't.
Can't always get what you want.
No.
Can't always get what you want.
But if you try sometimes, you know you just might find you get what you need. So we find ourselves without the spirit, trying with mind and body just to feel it. what you want. No, you really, really can't. Can't always. Know it.
You can't always
Yeah. Oh, but if you try sometimes, you know you just might find you get what you need. So finally, I thought I'd try this. To make understanding, no, it taught me the way I say no fooling. Now believe what you want, it's your decision. But I know the way without collision. Cause you can't always. No, 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 no. You sometimes get it that way. You sometimes can't get it any other way that you can. And I'm trying sometimes. Just like get what you need. You get what you need. You get
What you need.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
That I loved.
Yes.
I love the boys.
Yes.
The trivalent understanding noetics is the thing that I came up with to teach purpose, to teach you. Y.O.U. Stands for your own understanding. It was recognized by the X Prize. They said I was in consideration for that award, and they asked me to go to the United Nations Incentive to Innovation Conference, which all my listeners have heard me say before. I blew the world's mind then. How come y'all haven't heard of the trivalent understanding noetics? Because nobody wants you to understand you. Because if you understand you and you understand the purpose for which you were born, would you go work at McDonald's?
No.
Would you work at Ford or Chrysler or any place else for anybody else doing anything else other than your own personal purpose for existence?
Yes.
No, you wouldn't. And they understand that, or at least the people who control the politics and the culture that we live in fear that. And as a result, they are not introducing you to you at all. Okay.
Right. Welcome, everyone. Anything goes with Carla. Hi.
Carla!
Hi, Carla. And we want to give a shout out to her new podcast.
Our new podcast.
Yes.
Anything
goes with Carla. Or
hey,
CK.
hey. Everything goes with CK. You better understand
And
right
then,
away.
The boys, Artist
The man
and
G's.
Matt.
Oh, we
greetings,
just, come on, y'all.
greetings.
Yeah, that was you just up there. That was y'all. That right there, that was y'all. All of them, the cartoon. Yeah, those are the man G's.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And those of you who are not giving a shout out on the comments, we welcome you as well.
Absolutely. And we ask you a question, or ask you to ask us a question. What is your question? Let me give you something that you may be able to question. The total question is, imagine as a nation where we should be now. A sub-topic of that is, imagine roles that are going to come up as the world changes, as our nation changes and matures.
The way you want to see it.
What roles do you think we don't have now that we need?
Yes.
I can think of one or two. Number one, educator, not teacher. Mm-hmm. An educator educates. A teacher, obviously, teaches. Mm-hmm. An educator educates and teaches you, educates by giving you the operating manual for your being.
That's that one-on-one experience with yourselves.
Yes. A teacher teaches you whatever she's been taught or he's been told to teach. Whether that is education, they don't care.
Prepare you for tests, past tests, to work for someone else.
My wife, 30 years as a teacher, she
Yeah,
knows.
close to it, yes.
She imagines it the way it is. Now, question number 3. Roles to be played as the world changes. At least some of those roles have to do with genetic versus cultural Europeans. Now, let me explain that. There was a study done by Oxford in England. And this study was the study of the genetic representation of America. And this study took about 4,000 or 5,000, it was actually 4,000 some odd hundred, Americans, and did a genetic profile. They went and did their genes, just like Ancestry.com and all these other
23andMe.
Yeah, 23andMe and all these other places. They did this on a whole bunch of pink people and got shocked because they discovered that 100% of every person who thought they were pink actually had sub-Saharan Alkebulanese genes. From all the centuries of our ancestors passing and crossing over and acting and being treated as pink, we have kind of infiltrated the genetic line of everybody, not 89, not 92, 100% of all people from southern states, what used to be the Confederacy, all of them who thought they were pink, no, they weren't pink. They were actually hybrids.
Yeah, we want to give out a shout to Matthew Kendall. Yeah.
He's getting better.
Yes.
Keep on the meditation, y'all. If y'all have any questions, you better call me.
Now, see, that's the dad. That's the dad. Kendall Matthew.
Oh, that was
The boys is the random.
Okay.
The boys is the random
Thank you.
brother.
This is Dad,
vibe.
Matt.
That's dad.
This is Matt, Dad. Okay. What's up, my brother?
Hey, Matt.
What's happening for you?
Yeah, there's Matthew and Matt. I had to.
Yeah,
how
I
that goes.
apologize. I apologize deeply. But Matt should still call me if he had any problems meditating. He looks like he's gaining weight. Thank you, Lord. Okay.
Yes.
All hybrids here in the United States versus cultural Europeanism. Now,
By the way, I must say, when I picked this picture, it looks so much like my family when we're all together, because
you're right.
we got all these
You're
different colors, but
now that's
transfer from one to the other. Yeah, mixed.
That's the America
Yes.
that is our present America and our future
Yeah.
America. And you have to understand, everybody in that picture is a hybrid.
Yeah.
Everybody in that picture has several different cultures, several different races, and several different civilizations, histories in their genes. That is America. That is what America started out to be. That is what we are turning into. And that is what a whole bunch of people, primarily Republicans, can't stand and are so fearful of losing power and control. That's why they're trying to destroy the nation as it is. Because as it is, they see them losing more and more and more. Line 44.5 is the biggest political loser in history. He's also the biggest personal loser in history. He lost most of the $400 million his father gave him. Let's see. He bankrupted a casino. He bankrupted a education, Trump University. He bankrupted a wine distillery that he had. He bankrupted a meat company that he had. He is about to be bankrupted in all of his real estate holdings in New York. This man is the biggest loser in the history of humanity, trying to tell everybody they gonna get tired of winning. Okay, Republicans, are y'all tired of winning yet? Y'all tired of winning? Y'all just won the speakership back. Don't that make you happy? It shouldn't. Because the right-wing, racist, anti-abortion, you name it, tried to overturn the 2020 election, refused to say that Joey B was the legal president of this country. And pain of all pains, to me personally, the boy is from Louisiana. 8 of the best years of my life was spent in the state of Louisiana. I was the first Alkebulanese physician in Catahoula Parish. I brought in 3 more right after I did. They didn't want none before I got there. And once I got there, that's all they wanted. And I'm just telling you what they said. I became the vice president of primary care for the state of Louisiana and the state of Louisiana's representative to Congress for the Meese Commission hearings. And this ignorant, fearful, pink person has been elected speaker. And he's going to put in line all of the lies, the fraud, and the pain that line 44.5 wants for this country. His mama said the one job he should never have is president of the United States.
She made a very important point because she didn't have to make that point.
No, she knew her son.
Ooh.
I don't know line 44.5 like she does. She knew her son.
Your mama know.
And she said that is the one job he should never have. Why? Where are we at right now? Where we at right now, y'all?
While he's draining the swamp and using everything that he pulls out of it.
Let's see. We don't have a Congress that functions anymore.
Correct.
We have a justice system that he is trying to destroy. He has almost destroyed the executive system when he was in it. That's why she said he should never be that. That's okay. The true fraud that he is charged with perpetrating is the ignorance-based fear that he is taking this country through right now. The weight to be carried and responsibility legally falls on all of our shoulders. But here's the key. We are so very, very able to deal with that. We have been blessed by our ancestors going through this process called being enslaved. I wrote a book called The Blessings of Slavery. And the blessings of slavery ask a question. If you believe in a higher power and you ask that higher power for a gift or an ability, say courage, does that higher power simply hand you that gift or ability? Or does that higher power put you in a situation and a circumstance for you to gain that ability or utilize that ability to strengthen it and make it who you are? I've asked that question of thousands of people, and just about every one of them said, number two. The Most High puts you in a situation where you develop that ability. Our ancestral humanity was taken away from them by pink people. So our ancestors had to dig deeper into that humanity than any other person that has ever existed on this planet. You have to understand the first human beings that God made were our ancestors, not pink people. The first human beings on this planet were made in Alkebulanese. Read your Bible. That's where the Garden of Eden is. And science, history, anthropology, genetics, name a subject. All of them teach you that the first people were Alkebulanese. And not just the first, the second, the third, yeah. Pink people only came from a migration of our Alkebulanese ancestors up into Europe where they met Neanderthals who were white. They were this color. They were white. They were living in a place that rarely ever had any sun, and they lived inside caves. And they had no need for melanin. They didn't have any. And when our ancestors started mating with them, they didn't come out white or brown. They came out pink. And that's what Europeans are now. The true fraud was to ignore the blessings of slavery that made our ancestors so very, very much better than they'd ever been before. Our ancestors are looked to by the whole world. If there's ever a question of justice, freedom, liberty, anything like that, the whole planet uses our ancestors as their guides. The liberation question in South Africa. How about the same question in Europe? How about the same question in France, the Middle East, Southeast Asia? I went to Vietnam, and the Vietnamese were always announcing on their speaker systems, how can Alkebulanese be over here trying to fight another Alkebulanese who's trying not to be slaves to pink people, like our ancestors fought. Got to the Philippines and found out that the Philippines were the Philippines because of a small race of Alkebulanese called Negritos that came there and fathered, and invented Filipinos.
It's part of my ancestry. From the results from Ancestry.com. That was one of my ancestors.
Absolutely. The blessings of slavery gave our ancestors so many different directions to show their magnificence in. We became artists in home building, growing crops, cooking, music,
Healing.
dancing, just walking down the street. And the whole world right now is trying to imitate us. They don't want to be pink. They don't want to act like a pink person. They want to act like us. And this is in Europe, Asia, Alkebulan, South America, America, and it is most heightened and noticed amongst the young, but it's the same thing amongst the old. We watch, because I'm a musician and an artist, lots of different musical plays like
America Has Talent.
yeah, America Has
Got
Talent,
Talent.
the Voice, and all these different things like that
Yes.
all over the planet. Everybody, or just about everybody, on all of those shows try to imitate our ancestors. They try to sing a rock song, an R&B song, a blues song, a soul song, a hip hop song, and they try to dance like our ancestors created their dances. Our ancestors became artists, and with every art they created, they invested some of themselves through the experiences of being enslaved and having very, very little to call your own. No matter what the art, no matter what the means by which that art is expressed, an artist always pays a price in privacy, in exposure for that art.
Yes.
And we got a song for you that kind of describes that. It's by the Hip Hop Trio Plus. And strangely enough, it is called The Artist Pays the Price.
The artist pays a price, so you don't have to pay. If only you would listen to what he has to say. There are songs from wisdom, there are songs from hating, there are songs from loving, and there are songs from Satan. There are songs from lust, there are songs from pain. Some songs were done by chosen men, some have been insane. Move children, prove on a lie. One time, move children to the right side. Advance children to the light. We're looking good. Oh, advance children to the light. Some songs will show you which way to go. If only you would listen.
Listen up.
There are songs will turn you on, show you how much is missing. Songs we're meant to listen to, be checking out the best. Good songs were sent to man from God to help us pass this test. Life is for learning, and the purpose is joining up with the Lord. 1,000 bodies needed, but your soul is never destroyed. Your love, darling, this is all you require. And all you want is a little understanding today. Sometimes songs can prophesy a warning from the master. Make your soul listen to him to make you learn it faster. The devil has a special plan to make hot songs for sinners. Then God will turn it around, make good songs for winners. Hey, you know some songs can corrupt your flesh to dust. The only song that you can live are songs that you can trust. The artist pays a price. Oh, you don't have to.
Absolutely. The artist pays the price. And that art is the expression of opposition to evil, to meanness, to being humanal instead of humanistic. The results of the election coming up next year is going to reveal the fact that as a nation, we have changed. I have been telling people this for years. Next year, November 2024, the Republican Party will basically be destroyed because the Republican Party will be in a civil war. The Republican Party.
Okay, Matthew,
Matthew,
anyone,
Kendall,
thank you, love you guys, and we will, God bless you.
And
we'll
thank you, Matt.
And anything goes.
Thank
So
you.
Carla says thank you for the shout out. You are Shirley.
Absolutely,
You're more
we're
than
going to
welcome.
shout you out
Minawase.
all the time. Yes, indeed. In this election coming up next year, Republicans will go down in defeat again, but it's going to be the worst defeat they may have ever suffered in history. It may be the worst defeat any major political party has suffered. This is because they're liars, they're frauds, they're humanal instead of humanistic. They don't want what's best for America. They want America to fail. And they're saying it. They're telling you that. We need to destroy these people, and we are. The results of the election will be the rise of a new generation of Americans called the Unum. This country was created e pluribus unum. That was the motto of America. From many, one. From many nations, from many people, from many races, from many cultures, one. That was the motto of the United States of America in the 18th century. And it stayed that way until 1952. Oh, no, 54. When pink people realized that one nation means that from many nations, many races, many peoples, you're going to have one race? Yeah, and it won't be pink. Pink is recessive. It can't take over. That is history. That is biology. That is science. That is genetics. That is everything. And it took pink people almost 300 years before they realized that. And as soon as they realized that, they said, oops, we better change this motto to "In God We Trust," even though this whole nation was set up as a place that did not support religion. Look into the camera. Okay. I've been told to look into the camera. Something gonna happen? Okay. All right. The Unum are going to rise. They're already risen now, but their rise will be noted November 2024 as this nation rises.
Yes.
We're going to be sent there by a huge increase in the number of young voters. 18 to 25, they're going to really come out and vote. And they're really going to come out and vote Democratic. Along with almost anyone who can think logically or reasonably. There would be no reason to vote for a political party who can't run a country. And over the last several years, Republicans have taught us that, have shown us that. The young have seen that, and they ain't standing for it. Age? Age is the result of time and intelligence. If you have time and no intelligence, you will not get age. You're going to die. And you're going to die early.
Yeah.
You need time and intelligence to get age. Those who have neither the time nor the intelligence, we don't have to worry about. Those who have the time and no intelligence, that's what we're fighting.
Yes.
I can't get it, but we're trying to give it to you. We're trying to let you have your own understanding, because we realize that it is what God wants every human being to find, and what every human being comes here looking for. Okay, we got any questions? We got any?
No questions yet, but I do have a question.
You got a question?
And
Yep.
and
It's time. Okay. All right, give me a question and then it's time.
Okay. You played the artist pays the price,
Yes, sir.
and seems like the artists now, like the mainstream, what they're pumping in the radio, the
Yes, sir.
television,
Oh my God.
they're paying the price, or they're going to pay a price, putting out the messages and the images that they're
Yes.
doing. And it seems like that's almost like on purpose, that they're keeping people in this cycle of music mainstream. Now,
in
Yes.
addition to video games.
all of that, all types
Okay.
of media, music is a part of everything.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
So my question is to you, how can, well, let me say a few other things, but there are
Okay.
there are a lot of artists that are independent that aren't mainstream. Anybody can throw some music and video on
That you
YouTube
never
now.
hear about.
And they're really great artists. Of course, we do a genre of music we call hip hop, but it's really hip hop because it's basically just positive conscious hip hop without being
Absolutely.
preachy, corny, or outdated.
Yes.
It's still relevant to today's market. So,
Yes, sir.
how can we empower these type of artists? It almost seems like we need just a whole nother media push outlet. Remember how it used to be Video Soul and BT before it was bought, and
Yeah.
they would take a chance and take a risk on artists and things like that. Even so, it was still kind of programmed. But it seems like we need an outlet for artists so that people can just listen to the things that are going to inspire them versus influence them. How can we put together something like that? What is it going to take for us to not be under this spell of the music? Because that's what's killing the kids. The kids is killing each other right now.
Yes, sir.
How can we put something together? What's needed to really have something where it's fresh, new music that's not the same old messages, that has something that's going to inspire rather than influence?
Good question, my brother. You always have such really great questions, but unfortunately, that is one of the questions that pink people want you to ask, because they want you to be totally, completely unaware of the changes that have taken place in the music industry over the past 25 to 35 years. I remember 1962. I remember performing in 1965. I remember that there was very, very few avenues for Alkebulanese performers to find a large audience, because almost all of those large audiences were controlled by media moguls and specific record labels that wanted a specific type of music for a specific type of listener. Those have gone away. In our present situation in music, We no longer have just those large, mainly pink labels controlling the music we hear. Now, just about anybody who has time and energy can get listened to by a whole bunch of people on the internet, on streaming services. And we are totally told to ignore that for the history and the problems of 50 years ago. Right now, we have a lot of really, really good music that is being played on the internet all over this planet. Now, we also have some very bad music. I don't like cussing. I don't like vilifying people. I don't like
Murder?
hurting folks at all in any way. I don't like indiscriminate drug use. I don't like many of these things because I was raised in an atmosphere in which those things were frowned on. My mother's father was a pastor. My father's father was a pastor. My uncles were all pastors. My cousins were all pastors. My brother is an imam. So I got raised to consider morals and other cultural questions in my music. Many people did not. And that's who is cussing on the radio. That's who's calling people B's and H's and all. Yeah, they have never been taught their own value. And so they don't value anybody else. It's kind of impossible if you don't value you to put any worthwhile value on anything else. That's where we are. That's what we are dealing with. Here is the great news. That is dying out. That is dying very, very much out right now. As people get tired of hearing music that makes them feel bad about other people. We need to hold up the good and spread it. We need to put down the bad and crush it. That's what we need to do. And here we go. We're doing that. We are doing that. Let's see. When did Global Records start?
2002 or 3.
Uh-huh. Right. Did it exist before then?
Mm-mm.
Let me remind you of something. Somebody, I believe it was you, told me that they wanted to make a new generation Motown. And they wanted to take what Motown had did with rock and roll and do that to hip hop. That didn't exist more than 20 years ago. Now, it not only exists, it's pretty damn popular. And it's doing really, really well.
So popular that KRS-One passed the baton of edutainment over to Global Entertainment.
You were there? Nick was there? Yeah. Uh-huh. The things that you are looking for are happening. The things you want to eliminate are decreasing. And if the Lord says the same and the ancestors agree, that increase is going to lead to more and more widespread embrace of wholesome, enabling music that teaches people themselves. Now, did that address your question in any way?
Oh yeah, I agree with you specifically on in this day and time with the internet. anybody with the time and
energy.
can basically be successful and pretty much make an impact on the music today. That's the key, though, the time and energy. But even before the time and energy, they have to know who they are, where they are, when they are, so they can figure out why.
Yes, sir, my brother.
So that's honestly the beginning to, like you said, a lot of these artists didn't have that.
Yeah,
They didn't grow up with that.
yeah.
We're dealing with not the crack babies. We're dealing with the crack babies right
Yes.
now. You know what I'm
And
saying?
in a system that does not educate.
Right.
It only trains.
So with the proper education,
Yes, sir.
then the time and energy will be effective
I totally
when
completely
creating
agree.
the type of art or entertainment
That is enabling.
that is needed to usher in the next evolution of humanity.
Yes, sir. And we're doing that. That is happening right now. Unfortunately, while things like that are occurring, almost nobody notices that they're occurring. They don't notice that they're occurring until 20, 30 years after, when they look back and say, yeah, that happened. Yeah, and then it went to where we are now.
Who said that the revolution was not going to be televised?
Gil Scott Heron.
Yeah, Jill Scott Heron.
Yeah.
That's what
Gil Scott Heron.
That's what I
and
feel.
And the Last Poets.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I feel about the comment you just made.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. I totally, completely understand and agree.
You're right.
That answered the question, and that being the truth.
For sure. Hey, that's why we got people like what we doing with. We got to share and like
Yes.
the Ask Doc show.
Yeah.
People like Billy Carson, people like 19 Keys.
Yep.
All of these people,
Yep.
all of these organizations and podcasts really are really doing their job,
Yes, sir.
and they really it's going to be a point in time where you're right, it won't be televised. We'll all use our platforms.
That's right.
to make a difference.
Absolutely. It's happening, my brother.
Yes. All right, honey.
Okay. And as our sign off, we always sign off with the same sign, and that sign is peace. And that stands for
Proper education always corrects error.
Peace, y'all.
Oh, you made it to the end of the video. Well, I'm tired a little bit differently. I'm dressed as Baba Amwa. If you would like more of your own understanding, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
And go to the sites that we have listed around us. The Most High is good.
And the ancestors are kind
Thanks
for having us on your minds.
Peace.